So I had a hard time sleeping last night. As you guys well know, the beautiful, talented, extremely intelligent Dolly Parton passed away. She was sick and hurting for a while, and I know that her husband passed away, I think 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I know people that love each other that much, that have been with each other for that long. They usually follow one after the other. I hate to say it, but it usually 9 times out of 10 is the case. I wanted to briefly just talk about my feelings. I had a hard time sleeping. I would get up at random periods of the night, and when I did, I was thinking about Dolly. And I know it sounds weird. Dolly, she's been around as long as I've been alive. She was here before I was even alive. She's just always been there. Most of the things from the 80s that I remember, 9 to 5, Steel Magnolias, which I did a video on, she's just always been there. And she's always been consistent. She's never wavered. I've never seen her and caught up in some random scandal, even though the media has tried to like tear her down. I'm not gonna cry. She's just always been true to herself. She's known herself and provided so much love and light and just wonders to the world, you know. I know she had a rough life growing up, and she found a way to carry on. And I think that's the power, not only of Dolly, but of women. I see this every day. They just find a way to just get through the bullshit, no matter what the world does to them, and they just rise above. And that's what Dolly represented. She just inspired so many. I don't know if you guys remember, I think she did an interview like 40 something years ago, where she was interviewed with Johnny Carson, and she was very, very smart. She was very, very smart. Like, Johnny Carson, I think, had her on his program like multiple times, and he was always trying to find some way to kind of like, you know, I guess silently flirt with her or whatever. Like back in the day, that's kind of like what they did. But she always would rise to the occasion and meet him and get to him to a point where he's like, okay, he would tap out. But she was just really funny. She was really funny. I also remember how she did an interview with Barbara Walters, and this also kind of pissed me off because you could see Barbara Walters kind of poking at her and telling her, you know, where there's reports that, you know, you look cheap and you've done this and you've done that, you know, or you're, you know, is your chest real? Like, she would find ways to just like silently say like other people have said this, but in reality it's Barbara Walters that was saying that. And the grace and sophistication and eloquence that Dolly portrayed during that interview is a testament to her. It didn't matter what you threw at her. She embraced it all and would throw it right back at you. And she would do it in the most slick, finessed kind of way. She was a terrific businesswoman. Like everybody knows, she wrote and sang I'll Always Love You. And that has been Whitney Houston's signature song. Like, now there's not a lot of people that can out-sing Whitney, even to this day. But Whitney took it and made it her own. And Dolly said, hey, that song's not mine anymore. Like, Whitney, she's got it. She's got it. But Dolly was smart enough to say, like, even though every time Whitney sings that song, she gets a cut of that. So it's like, you know, yeah, it's her song, but I'm still, you know, getting profit off it. And it was just, you know, that's kind of like her mentality. You know, she would kind of give you a compliment, but, you know, she knew how to finesse a situation. I remember, like, literally as I was waking up, I'll go back to like at my time at work when I found the news. I was working, and there's a couple of women in the office, and they let me know that she passed away. And I was like, what? And I was already feeling like shit already. I was feeling like just not there with it. But I heard the news, and I was devastated. I knew, you know how you know something is coming. You knew something was going to happen, and you're just kind of like, you don't know it, but you kind of feel it's coming. That's kind of how I knew with Dolly. I knew that when she took sort of time off and she canceled a lot of her shows, it was just like, I think this is it. I think she's pushed herself as much as she can go. She's did what she needed to do. And I remember the vibe in the office. And I don't know if you guys remember Mad Men. There's a scene where they hear that Marilyn Monroe passed away, and all the women are just like wrecked. It wasn't as that dramatic, but it felt the energy felt very heavy. That a light was gone from the world, you know. And I don't understand why the universe decides to take really good people, and they just leave the soulless wastes of sackless shit walking and pussing and putrefying their way to another day. I don't know. I don't want to harp on it because I'm gonna just get more angry, but you know who they are. They're just still breathing. And they haven't added anything to the world, anything positive to the world, other than their hate and violent vitriol. But Dolly, she was not that person. No matter what happened to her, she found a way to take those darkest moments and turn them into sunshine, turn them into light, turn them into hard candy. And that's kind of reason why I wanted to talk about this video, just to end it. When I woke up, like I said, I couldn't sleep, and she was on my mind for a while. So when I got up, I turned on the TV, turned on YouTube, and I looked for, there's this old movie, I think it was done like maybe 45, maybe 50 years ago, called The Best Whorehouse in Texas, the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. It's a funny movie. It's a funny movie. I don't like it as much as 9 to 5 or Steel Magnolias, but it's definitely a good movie. But there's one scene in that film, I'm not gonna cry, where the governor, apparently he shut down, he's been scheming a while for this Dolly's whorehouse to be shut down, even though some of his compatriots have like visited it. And Burt Reynolds is in it. I think he's like the sheriff or deputy or whatever. And he loves Dolly Parton's character. I think they did a couple movies together. They have really great chemistry in that movie. But anyway, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. But anyway, the governor succeeds. He finds a way to kind of to close down Dolly's whorehouse. And in the scene, you see the women packing up, the women who live in the whorehouse and work in that whorehouse. They pack up and they're getting ready to leave. And they all are singing this song about, maybe I'll, find another job. Maybe I'll go on a date. And it's called A Hard Candy. And it's Dolly, she says, I think one of the lines she says is, sometimes it feels like hard candy Christmas. And I'm probably butchering the words, but sometimes it feels like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through to it tomorrow, but I won't let sorrow bring me down. And that's who she was. And it's a beautiful song. It's a really beautiful song. There's a lot of talented singers in that scene, but I don't think the point of the scenes was to showcase all the great singers. I think it was to showcase the resilience of women despite having tragedy befall them, that they find some way to go on. There's got to be another way. I'm gonna make a way, and that's what Dolly did. She made Dollyland. She was a producer. She was a songwriter. She was a singer. She was an actress. She just had her hands in so many different pies, and she kept doing what she did up until her last moment, and up until she couldn't do it anymore. And I think that's a message that you should kind of take with you, even though she's gone, even though that light is gone from the world, and there will never be another Dolly. She meant so much to the LGBTQ community, just to everybody. I don't think there's anyone that has a bad thing. If you talk about Dolly, I don't think there's anyone that I've met that's had a bad thing to say about Dolly, because she was that consistent. She was that steadfast. She never wavered, no matter what. So yeah, that's all I got. If like what I had to say, do the thing or not. I know I've been gone for a while, but I'm slowly making my way back. Again, I'll have to keep doing these until I get my shit together. But I wanted to give a tribute and shout out to Dolly, who meant a lot to the world. She meant a lot to me and to the women in my life who grew up with her. And I hope she's resting in power, and I hope she's doing well and singing with Whitney and all the people who passed before, and with her husband. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Have a good one. Cabs out.